Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk More on Monday. I'm your podcast host, Chloe, and I am joined by two who are currently attending the IU Kelley School of Business in partnership with Issue 10. IU Kelley School of Business has been a big influence on the life of more. Our founder, Ariana, is an alum of the IU Kelley School of Business, and we have worked with them closely to continue to make opportunities reachable for everyone. And they are always graduating new professionals into the world of business. So I'm joined today by Morgan and Victoria, who are going to tell us a little bit about what it is like to get an education at IU Kelley School of Business, what they're hoping to do with that, and what they see in terms of how they might be connected to more and the same mission that we are going through. So welcome, both of you. Thank you so much for joining me on this podcast today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you guys. So I will have you both introduce yourselves. Let us know who you are, what you do, what you're studying, what you're up to. Morgan, we'll start with you.
Hello, my name is Morgan Williamson. I use they, them pronouns. I just completed my freshman year at IU Kelley, so I'm going to my sophomore year. My first year has been an incredible year. It first started when I joined Business Connect, which is it's all about diversity and about the student and like wanting them to achieve in the business realm and how to succeed. I've also had the opportunity to go into the Business Plus program where I had an internship during my spring semester. And I've also had the opportunity to go into a study abroad program as well. I just completed my trip to Japan for 2 weeks. Just got back this week, so I'm still going through the things. And then I also pledged 2 Greek organizations. I did Delta Sigma Pi, which is a business fraternity, a co-ed business fraternity. And then I also pledged Sigma Psi Zeta Sorority Incorporated, which is a multicultural Greek organization, which includes Asian interests and the LGBTQIA community.
That is amazing. Well, sounds like you have been quite busy. That is awesome. How about you, Victoria?
Hi, my name is Victoria Delgado. I am a sophomore. I'm currently pursuing a double major in finance and international studies. Like Morgan, I'm also part of Business Plus. Technically the program ended in April, and they offered me to stay for a bit longer, and I accepted. So I still work at Elanco Animal Health, and I'm currently involved in many extracurriculars across campus and taking advantage of everything that Kelley and IU has to offer.
Yeah, as you should. Well, it sounds like you guys are both taking advantage of every opportunity that is available to you, which is exactly what you should do in college. But, since your options are so varied, it's great that you can focus in on some things and find some communities that you can be a part of. So that is definitely very exciting. Well, thank you both so much for joining me and for talking about IU Kelley School of Business. So let's get into the nitty gritty a little bit. Victoria, I'll start with you for this question. What led you to choose an education in business? What was your inspiration?
To be honest, I always had that interest in me from a very young age. I'm not sure, and I don't have a specific time I realized. It just kind of occurred, and I started exploring all the majors that were offered. And I was always a math girl, not so a science girl, but I decided to major in finance. And I've always been also very interested in diversity and learning about different cultures and languages. And that also led me to majoring in international studies.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about that. What does a international studies program look like?
So it's basically an opportunity for you to take classes that are not primarily focused in the US, but also in other parts of the world. I, for example, took a tourism and geography class, and I was able to work on a group project with people from Chile, and that
Wow.
was awesome. I created a network not only in the US, but now outside of the US.
Yeah, that is so interesting.
Yes.
Okay,
It
amazing.
kind of
How about
gives
you?
you a bigger scope of.
Yeah, absolutely. And as it should. I mean, I can
Mhm.
only imagine that would make you so much more informed, not only in terms of your studies, but for business, which it's hard not to think about business on a global scale. We don't really do anything, in a bubble anymore.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. How about you, Morgan? What led you to choose an education in business?
For me, also, my path wasn't that direct. I always enjoyed working with numbers. Growing up, I didn't know where that would lead me necessarily. Many people mentioned a variety of avenues, uh, but business, accounting, and finance, that was always the major ones I heard. I was my junior year of high school, and I had also taken an AI course, which I like to pair with math as well. But then um, so a business was already like in my head, and then I took a criminal justice course when I was a junior, and that got me thinking of like, what if I pair like criminal justice and accounting? So that's where I came up with forensics accounting. So since coming to college, I have expanded my reach and have been open to a lot of different careers paths, but that was like the first introduction.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I went to a very small rural high school and we definitely did not have criminal justice classes. So I am envious of that, but that is super cool.
hmm I
Good.
also came from a small town. The criminal justice was like just coming up, but a lot of our avenues was agricultural based classes
Yep.
as well.
Yep. Same big 4-H program.
Yes, yes, every year.
Yeah. So, Morgan, we'll start with you for this next question. How does your business, marketing, math, education influence your daily life, your choices, the things that you seek out?
hmm I've definitely always had a analytical, strategic brain. I'm always thinking of like the most optimal way to complete a task that improves efficiency and make sure we always have the ball rolling. Also, with my international studies degree, I have also had the opportunity to participate in a study abroad program, as I mentioned, where I was able to pair the business and the global economy. And I thoroughly enjoyed the study abroad program. I was learning about different cultures and the economic trends. I had the opportunity to pair with the Dorsetshire Women's Liberal Arts College in Kyoto, Japan. And there we learned about the UN SDGs, which stands for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And
Mm.
there we were just able to do research on the US and Japan, research all 17 goals, and show how each country is actively pursuing to achieve the SDGs.
Yeah, that is very fascinating. And I love that you got to make that connection all the way around the world.
Mhm,
I'm curious, you were there for 2 weeks. I
mhm.
mean, what was the time change? Did you have time to adjust once you got there?
It's really interesting because when we got there, I tried to like plan my sleep and everything, and then when I
Yeah.
got there, I did experience a little bit of jet lag, but it was the not sleeping, which I thought was pretty good because then I got to do everything I wanted to do, and then coming back to the U.S., it got a little wonky. So I'm actually sleeping more now this time, trying to catch up on the sleep that I've missed.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. When you're there, you're like, yeah, I'll sleep later.
Yeah.
That's so great. How about you, Victoria? How does your education influence your life?
I'd say that going to Kelley specifically and majoring in business has helped me like get inspired by the people who also major in business. And from that, like I've tried to like seek out more opportunities are that align with my interests.
Yeah.
For example, I joined the Women in Business Club at Kelley, and from that, I've been able to expand my network and which is something that is very emphasized in Kelley.
I'm sure.
Yes, that human interaction, and that's, yeah, like most of it has been seeking more ways to get involved and learn.
Yeah. Well, fun fact, just by doing this podcast, you have also extended your network into the family of more, which is a lot of professionals and very passionate people in the Indianapolis and broader area. So you have kind of secured yourself another new community by doing this today.
Yes.
So you guys have talked a little bit, you've touched on this, but what does getting experience and broadening your network look like in your education? We can start with you, Victoria.
I'd say is very important to like get involved, whether it's on campus or in Indy. I'd say seeking opportunities to grow and see and feel what it's actually like to have a career in your field.
Yeah.
A big part of that has been having the opportunity to have an internship. And even though it's not in finance, it's in HR, I've also had the opportunity to meet with people from the finance department at Elanco and learn from the HR department, specifically how, like, the things that they look for in
Right.
an employee, and all the processes that are behind an internship program.
Mhm.
It's been very incredible and very rewarding to be part of something like that.
Yeah, that's so exciting. And like you said, an internship with the HR department might not be what you were anticipating, but it opened up a lot of doors and could, transition into something else. And I think one of the hardest things about graduating college is knowing what's going to be next for you, and that transition away from being a student into being a working professional. And something I think it seems like IU Kelley School of Business does very well is getting you into that world before you graduate, letting you dip your toes into the water and find out what it's really going to be like.
Yes, and not only the major that you're pursuing right now, but other majors as well, because you don't really know what you might like in the future. It's not the same to experience something during class and then experiencing and doing the work every day.
Right. And if you decide you don't like it, better to learn now than later.
Yes.
How about you, Morgan? What does experience look like in your education?
Mm-hmm. It touches a lot what Victoria said, but like doing basic things like maybe like creating a budget, even for personal or business use, completing internships throughout your college, or just completing jobs in general. A lot of jobs, it teaches you hard work, time management skills, how to budget, which once you have that incoming money, and just like practice using your business mind in any type of avenue. And that's what experience is, and that's how you can use your education to influence your experience, and then to communicate with people and then have multiple people come together and work to solve a problem.
Yeah. And what a great experience that is as well. So, how do you feel like your professors are engaging you to encourage that experience inside the classroom and outside the classroom? Do they encourage you to get internships? Do they introduce you to people? What does that look like?
So overall, I believe all professors have given us great advice in and outside of the classroom. Most of it I have attempted to like keep in the back of my mind or to practice in order to be the best I can. The encouragement I have received from everyone is tremendous, and they wholeheartedly believe in you and your dreams and your dreams and your dreams to achieve that as well. And just the amount of support is endless.
That's great, as they should. How
They're
about you?
always there. But I'd say it's also key to take the time to introduce yourself to them, like on the first day. It allows them to know your name, make that connection. And through that, I've been able to learn about what they did before becoming a professor.
Yeah.
And they've also encouraged me to use LinkedIn to connect with them and I now know that in case I want to work at Roche, for example, I have a professor who was the director of finance there. So I have an avenue.
Right. Again, just like making those connections, making those inroads.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. That is amazing. Well, thank you both so much for talking about your experiences at IU Kelley School of Business. If you are listening to this right now, make sure to join us over on our Patreon. We are going to dig deeper with these students about some of the lessons that they've learned, what kind of influence they're hoping to have, and some things that they hope to achieve upon graduation, which will come so much sooner than you think. So make sure to join us over on our Patreon to talk about that. But before we go, Victoria, Morgan, if people want to find you outside of this podcast, maybe on the interwebs, how could they find you? We'll start with you, Morgan.
For me, it would be LinkedIn. Pretty sure if you just look up my name, Morgan Williamson, I should pop up.
Perfect.
Same with me. Follow me, connect with me on LinkedIn, Victoria Delgado, and I'm open. If you ever have questions about what being a student feels like, some of the tips that you probably don't get whenever you're first introduced to school, we're here. We can answer your questions.
Yes, amazing. Do not be afraid to shoot them a message. It is amazing the things that you can start, but just by opening up a conversation.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you both. You will see us again over on our Patreon. But if you guys are listening to this, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us and helping us with our mission of making opportunities reachable for everyone. And soon we will be wrapping up our Issue 10 Contributor Chat series. So make sure to stay tuned for what comes next. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.